Hello, Walter.
Hello.
How's it going? Can you guys hear me? Everything good?
Yes, we can hear you fine. Awesome.
Okay, cool.
Nice to meet you. I am Nate, or Pumpkin Nonstop.
And
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
yeah, and you remember me? We worked on Infinity Trinity.
Yeah, of course.
All right, cool. That was the main thing we wanted to talk to you about. Was Infinity Trinity, and because you've worked, you went to college at Governors State, and you're a filmmaker basically and an editor. So I wanted to talk to you more about how it feels to be a small content creator, or how it felt to be a small content creator on your content journey. And I definitely wanted to talk to you more about Infinity Trinity. But just to start off, everybody, this is Walter. If you wanted to bring up any of your career highlights or anything like that to everybody on stream.
Well, I'm working for Channel Awesome right now. That's a decently good sized YouTube channel. So
Yep.
I'm making a lot of different shows for them. Fanscription, which is like a what if show about movies. I'm doing Awesome Comics on their stream on Twitch. Also working on we're in the middle of Batman right now, where I review every episode of Batman the Animated Series. We're almost done finally. And in October I do Twilight Tober Zone, where I review every episode of the Twilight Zone. So that's kind of the stuff I'm doing right now. It's been a while since I've been able to do any independent film stuff, but hopefully I can get back to that sooner rather than later.
Well, Twilight Tober, you've done a lot of actual like great shorts in it, and you've done a lot of practical effects in it that are actually really good. Like I remember you did the lighting to make it look like Doug was turning old in camera, and it was like really good. So you definitely have the opportunity to do more like film stuff, and I love your Twilight Tober videos. They're really good. Probably the highlight of October. Well, because I have been such a big, I think because I met you through Brian, a work friend of mine at the time, and I remember he asked me to come for the Infinity Trinity to be an extra in one of the scenes, and I had no idea that Doug was going to be there. And when Doug showed up, Brian was like, "Do you want to meet him?" And I was like, "No." I was so nervous, but it was such a great shoot, and I was going to ask you if you could talk a little bit about Infinity Trinity and how much of a wild ride that was.
Oh, it's a long story. I don't want to keep you guys here all day.
I mean, you can give us the highlights of it, but like that's like the main thing of ever since the project that you've worked on in college, and it took you a long time to make. I kind of have functioned on that same type of journey, because there's a feature film I've been working on since 2016 that has still not seen the light of day, and it's like one of those things where I'm just chugging along, and I think you
do you want to say the name of it?
Oh, well, it's the Doorman. I have a tattoo of it.
Yeah.
But
oh wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of one of those things.
The door's in my garage. I had to rescue it when you moved to Tennessee.
Yeah, we have the props and everything. So I think you kind of are the kind of person that could relate to that of I have this thing that is stuck and I need to finish it. So I wanted to hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, first of all, I think we all have those projects, no matter what, if you direct it or edit it or anything, that are kind of unfinished. We all have that stuff. So, a lot of people have come up to me about Infinity Trinity and a few other things. People who've worked on it and people who've seen it who say that kind of same thing. But don't be too hard on yourself for that kind of stuff. I still have a few projects that I haven't publicly released yet. That we've had like little premieres for, but I've never put online, that I would like to if I ever have the time to finish it. So anyone who's watching this, if you have any kind of thing that you've been working on that is not finished, as long as it's still in the back of your mind somewhere that you have an avenue to get it done, then it's a work in progress.
Yeah, or you still have the want to it, or as long as it's still like fun and something you want to captivate too. Because if it's like the idea changed and you fell out of love with it and don't want to do it, that's one thing. But if you still love it and want to do it, then it's totally different. But
right. In terms of getting like Infinity Trinity going and everything, I mean, this was, I think 2012 was the first time I came up with an idea for this. I was at Governor's State and I needed to come up with a short idea, because we were all doing that for my first semester there. We were all going to have to direct and write, I think, a film. So at that point, I hadn't really made any comedies or anything like that. Maybe a couple like little skits here and there, but I've never made like a comedy short film. So I thought that was a good opportunity to do something like that. And a lot of the inspiration came from a lot of kind of like wacky songs and 90s sitcom, like, but there's a lot of Boy Meets World in the Infinity Trinity.
Awesome.
A lot of that that old kind of style of humor and character personalities and things like that. So the first short film was just like trying to, and that's another thing that hasn't been released really publicly yet, by the way. Hopefully I'll be able to do that. But the first short film was kind of just trying to figure out if I could do something like this with a comedic, a lot of like physical comedy type of stuff, that kind of story. And we premiered it at the end of the semester that year, and it was about a half hour at that point. People seemed to really react to things. They really liked it. We also screened after a film that a lot of people were really confused by, so I think that helped us with the reaction.
Yeah, anything a little more coherent is better than what was before it.
Right, it was trying to be something kind of strange, and people didn't get it. And then our stuff came up, which was very like straightforward. This is a joke. This is
we get this.
Yeah,
okay, cool.
Right. So people, got really into it, and I was really. It's like someone shooting like adrenaline straight into your veins and stuff. I mean, there were like 50-something people, I think, at the screening, and just it wasn't just students; it was a lot of faculty and family members and stuff. So it was kind of like a premiere, and I was very nervous, but that went off pretty well. And I had ideas to make a web series out of that main idea. For a while, and I took notes on it and things, and I was worried about. I think this would apply to anyone who wants to make anything that's going to be a long-term project. I was worried about not finishing it because it would be like a 5-episode thing. I would want to make them, 20 to 30-minute episodes each, and the finale even longer.
Yeah.
And I was worried that we weren't going to be able to do that because it is a huge undertaking. It's basically a 2+ hour movie that you're going to be making.
Yeah.
So I remember talking to my friend Kim, who has been a constant source of help shooting. She's a great cinematographer. She's just very knowledgeable about a lot of different aspects of films, very smart. And she just was like, just do it. Just start it, and we'll figure it out or whatever. And I was like, okay, if you say so, because I mean, she was going to be one of the main people helping me out on it. So if she's on board with it, then I guess we can. Yeah, I guess we can keep going.
Yeah. The hardest part is just starting sometimes, man.
Yep.
Once you don't know where to start, so you pick what you can do, and then it kind of work left and right from there, and it fills in. But sometimes it's more scary to even start than actually doing it.
Absolutely, yeah. Like taking the first step in a lot of ways is the hardest.
Yes, I agree.
The hardest thing to do. Because once the ball is moving and the ball is rolling, I should say, then you could kind of figure things out as they come along.
Yeah.
But actually taking that first step and saying I'm going to do this, and just getting in that mindset a lot of the times is the most difficult thing to put yourself in. So yeah, we started shooting the short film. I was kind of trying to be a little bit clever about it, to make the first 2 episodes a part of like the other classes that I was in. So I was like, all right, we could kind of springboard this by saying the first 2 episodes are class projects anyway, and then I could keep going after, and just after I graduate and who's already working on it say we're already almost halfway there, so we could just let's just finish it. What's the big deal? So I would say that helped a lot. I got to rent out a ton of equipment from the department I worked in at Governor State, so that was a big help.
Yeah.
But we started shooting that in 2014, and it took us 2 years to get through the whole series, all 5 episodes. 2 years of shooting.
Wow.
And there were long gaps in between episodes. I was writing as I went along. I had outlines for the episodes, but I didn't exactly know what scenes were happening next, because I didn't want to get to the next writing phase until I knew what we were able to get done in the previous episode. So it was a difficult thing to juggle. But I also got hired on at Channel Awesome around 2016, end of 2015, beginning of 2016. And I was doing so much work. I still am doing so much work, just buried in stuff. And I had to kind of put it on the back burner, which was like, it was eating away at me because I wanted to finish this.
Yeah.
And then when we shot the finale, which is, yeah.
Yeah, we just relate to that a lot, man.
Yeah. When we got to the finale, it was like double the length of previous episodes. I think it's in the 40-something minute range. So it's this big finale. And I wanted to involve a lot of people from Channel Awesome and give them cameos and stuff. So that's where Doug came into it, playing the priest in the church scene that you're in. So like that all worked out really well. But then the post-production on that though took a long time. I mean, we finished shooting I want to say like end of or mid 2016, and I didn't premiere it until 2019. So it was 3 years of having to wait because I just kind of did a little bit, every week, which would try to go back into the episode and edit a little bit more and fix things up. And that turned into re-editing a lot of the original episodes too, the first 4, because I had learned so much and I, wanted things paced out a little bit better. And now I might have a little bit of a bigger audience than I was thinking originally. I wanted to make sure these were more finely polished. So it took a long time, but we finally did premiere it 2019, had a big premiere at Hollywood Palms in Naperville.
Yeah.
That was so much fun. I got to advertise it on Channel Awesome and had all the Channel Awesome people there. We had like this autograph table. We printed up little posters and stuff. So a lot of Channel Awesome fans were there. It was a very interesting mix of people because there were Channel Awesome fans who really wanted to see Doug and Tamara and Malcolm and those guys. There were like a lot of my friends and family who were there. And there were like the crew and everyone. So it was this very interesting mix of all these different people sitting down in this big theater to watch the full series, which ended up being about 2.5-ish hours altogether.
Yeah, I was actually there that day. I guess I wanted to ask how that felt when you finally got to premiere it for the first time and show everybody your hard work.
I mean, there was so much work that went into just the premiere, just premiering it and promoting it. I did most of that myself. So, I mean, I contacted the theater. I made the deal. I paid for it. There was like a little kerfluffle at the end of the night with paying for it, but the card wasn't working or something. That was
classic.
Like a mini heart attack at the end of the night, but it did work out eventually. But yeah, I mean, like I did most of that. I want to say 99% of that myself. So
awesome.
Just setting everything up was like setting up a big, like it was like a wedding or something. But I wasn't
That's how this has felt, more or less.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. So it was a big undertaking, and I was just nervous, the entire time. But at the same time, I had to kind of put that in the back of my head because I had so many tasks to get done.
Had a job to do, yeah.
Yeah, day of, and had to make sure everyone was okay. I really wanted to make that premiere kind of the payback and the culmination of, to the people who helped me. That was the main thing I wanted to, because I couldn't pay them. I didn't have any money to pay. Everyone who worked on this, it's a miracle that it got finished in the first place, because no one got paid for it. Everyone was doing out of goodwill because they were my friends or family, or just wanted to work on something, or a combination of all that.
Yeah.
And since I couldn't pay them money, I mean, giving them something to celebrate that this thing was done, that was the most important thing to me, and showing them that, in front of a crowd that was going to react to it, because I mean, it's a built-in thing when you have friends and family, that they're going to be a little bit generous on the laughs and all that.
Yeah, of course. But some better than none, even if they're a little accentuated, is better than none.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of laughs, and the crowd is really into it. I remember anytime there was anyone from Channel Awesome that did their cameo, the crowd just started cheering.
Woo!
Yeah. What type of darlings did you have to leave on the cutting room floor when you were making it?
Well, with Doug, I had Doug specifically, there's a lot of stuff I cut out because I had the script, but I also wanted to leave room for him to improvise, because he's a really good improviser. He's obviously very adept at comedy because he's been doing this for 15 years plus now. So I wanted to leave room for him to just kind of go off and do whatever. And there was, I think, a handful of lines that were just hilarious that I couldn't keep in because it would make everything drag too much, or it just, contradict the other thing he just said. So there's a lot of those with him specifically. And that's my actual uncle, my Uncle Joe, who walked up with the Aunt Karen character to get married. So yeah, so to see them interact was just hilarious because it's
fun.
like my uncle, my godfather, and Doug Walker, who I was a huge fan of before. Like before I even got involved in Channel Awesome, from a employee perspective, I was a big fan of Nostalgia Critic and all those guys. So there wasn't a lot of stuff on the cutting room floor that I missed. I think it all worked out for the best.
You have seen so many different iterations of who I am as a person. I was there for the pilot, like the episode 0 of Awesome Comics. I said something that was so embarrassing to me thinking about it. I was just so hyped because I was so in love with Channel Awesome at the time. I was such a big fan, and I was just being so cringy that it hurts to think about. Like, I'm just such a different person, and I needed to bring that up so I just can be absolved of those cringy sins when I was there. Because I was such a big fan of Channel Awesome at the time, and it was just so hard to think about.
You were more like fanboying than participating.
Oh yeah, it was so hard. I was silent and because
hi Kevin.
You way in the back. I that was the first show that I was on too. So I mean, I was in the same position as you were. Really, I mean, I was going to be editing it and producing it, and a lot of behind the scenes stuff. But I mean, that was the first time I was on screen for them. Was I think for that show. Outside of Nostalgia Critic Review, I might have done like a little cameo or something before that. But this was the first show that I was going to be heading up. I wasn't even expecting to do that. I thought I was just going to be editing it. So, I was in the same boat as you. And, coming up with a new show for Channel Awesome that Channel Awesome people aren't even in, this is all new people, was a crazy experience. So I understand, like, I'm sure I said a ton of cringy, weird stuff over the years. And there's some things I look back on that I'm like, didn't work out all that well. But, I mean, that's nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, we've all been in that position. If you're meeting someone that you are fond of, for their work or something like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's something that happens with people. So don't worry about it.
I you know what? I greatly appreciate that. You have no idea what type of weight that takes off of my shoulders. I'm gonna wait till after you're gone so I'll tell Nate what I said. But I just
finished doorman now.
And believe me, you weren't even like nearly the worst person on set that day. So
not nearly close.
No, not even close. Not even close.
I greatly appreciate that so much. But like, you were working at you went to Governor's State and you've participated.
I did work at Governor's State too.
So, okay. So, because I remember I saw you at one of the film festivals at one point, and I had another one of those moments where it was like, "Hey, Walter," and then like we looked at each other. You said, "Hey," we stared at each other for a second, and then you walked away. I was just so nervous.
I walked away.
Yeah, you looked at me and said, "Hey," and then you walked away. It was just like, oh yeah, that's how that. I'm glad that's how that went, because there was no way I was going to be able to keep up a conversation.
Dramatic cuts to you ripping a poster off your wall at home.
I know you say you have a lot on your plate. Do you like all the content that you're making, or do you feel like there's other projects that you want to just like jump into of your own stuff? How has that been?
Right. It's a complicated answer because I do love doing what I get to do. The Fanscription show is awesome because I get to basically make like pseudo movies and sequels and stuff for things that I would want to see.
That's cool.
Like I made a Back to the Future Part 4 story idea.
I did see that one, yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, and I get to put it out there. At the very least, thousands of people are going to see it. At the most, millions. I mean, like I've had a few like episodes that are above 1 million views, which just like completely destroys my brain to think about. So I can't say that like, this is, whatever, this is just work. Because it's not. I mean, I'm in the middle of a Fanscription edit right now where I've been editing like 13-hour days the past few days just trying to get this done. So it's a tough balance though, because I am getting older now. I'm into my mid-30s and things are starting to tighten up. My my trap muscle from clicking so much has been acting up in my neck and everything. So I'm gonna have to back off on some of this stuff soon. I mean, like making 100 videos a year or whatever it is, it's about that, is not going to be sustainable for too much longer. I've been wanting to make original stuff again for so long. I want to do a follow up, not a direct follow up, but a something following the Infinity Trinity, maybe something more in the mystery horror type stuff, kind of like I was doing with the Twilight Tober Zone segments. But there's so many things I want to do. I want to make another film. I want to do these other fake trailers or something. I really want to get back on set and get back to writing, that kind of thing. But I love what I do for Channel Awesome. It's to the point now where it's just I just can't sustain all of that and do my own projects. So
it's right at the brim of almost too much.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely too much.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people kind of take that for granted in the comments and stuff because last year I did half the amount of episodes for Batman. I did 16 instead of 31 because number one, I was going to do that this year to finish it off because that's just the amount of episodes there are and to cover for this series. But last year, I had like these health problems that were going on. I had a lot of personal events, like life events that were happening that I, was not going to sacrifice for editing a Batman review.
Yeah, exactly. Like your own health is always number one, regardless.
Right. But then you read through some things and you're like, this year better be better than last year, and like you guys. Man,
they forget the human behind the videos. They see it video to video, and not like the human staying up for hours, clicking 1,000 times plus a video.
Yeah,
and
exactly. So that's, I'm ready to move on from some of this stuff, so I could go back to making, even if it's. I got to the point last year where I was so burned out, and I still am pretty burned out, just from the last few months. But I was so burned out where I was like, I just want to write my these story ideas that I've had. Because I have all these this whole list of concepts that I've been wanting to write into scripts that I haven't been able to. And I was like, I reached the point where I don't care if nobody ever reads them. I don't care if not a single person reads it. I just want to write these.
I got to finish it.
It's a burning passion. That's the point of this story that we're doing. Season of the Curse 2 is just content creators who have a burning passion to create because that's all they can do. No matter what, you just want to create your stuff.
You want to see it done for yourself, regardless of if 1 or a million people watch it.
Yeah,
that's what I like to do.
So that's where I've been at recently. Is just I got to get past. I'm still passionate about the stuff that I'm doing for Channel Awesome. I love all the stuff that I get to do, but it's to the point where I'm like, okay, now I've done all that. I've paid my dues.
Yeah,
I could maybe take a lighter schedule and start to work on the stuff that I've been wanting to make for years now.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at.
When you said Infinity Trinity took a lot of manpower and a lot of people who are just there to help you out and not exactly looking for compensation, that's kind of where a lot of these projects come from, is just all passion and all love, and that's what I really like to see. Just want to say thank you so much for popping in and talking a lot. I appreciate it. I love your work, and I know you're a workhorse, and I know I can't wait to see any of the stuff that you come up with in the future.
Yes, I can't wait to check out the Back to the Future stuff and some more of your work. But thank you for coming on. It's very, very cool to have different guests of people that I know about but haven't got to talk to or anything like that. So I appreciate it greatly.
Absolutely. Good luck on your guys' projects, man.
Thank you.
No worries.
Same to you.
I will be definitely sending you a link when it's all said and done. But until then,
looking forward to it.
All right, man. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day.
All right.
Peace. See you guys.
Bye.
I'm so glad Walter got on. That's
I know. I was like, if he can't get on.